Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, the 26th of September, 2025. Big show today: baseball, football, WNBA playoffs, soccer, NHL preseason, Ryder Cup, NASCAR news and notes, and best bet in Fab 5. We'll start with baseball. We'll go over everything from last night and make picks for tonight. All right, so Reds over the Pirates 2-1. O's over the Rays 6-5 on a walk-off homer. Twins over the Rangers 4-0. The Astros over the A's 11-5. Dodgers over the D-backs 8-0. Phils over the Marlins 1-0. Yanks over the White Sox 5-3. Jays over the Red Sox 6-1. Tigers over the Guardians 4-2. Mets over the Cubs 8-5. Royals over the Angels 9-4. Mariners over the Rockies 6-2. All right, since I thought I was recording earlier and it stopped for some reason. I don't know why or what happened. So I'm just going to give out the bets I gave out. So Cards Cubs 220 to MLB Network. I'm giving out the Cubs on the run line -1.5 plus 114. 645 White Sox Nats. My pick for this, I'm going to do all over 9.5. That was plus 124. Twins Phillies. That one I said over 8.5 even money. O's Yankees 7 o'clock MLB Network. O's first 5 plus 144. Rays Blue Jays. Under 8 minus 118. I don't have time to do the pitchers. Tigers Red Sox. I said Tigers plus 102. Mets Marlins. I said over 8.5 minus 110. Rangers Guardians. Over 7.5 minus 105. 17 Pirates Braves. Over 8.5 minus 115. 8 o'clock Reds Brewers. I am giving out the Reds plus 144 outright. 9:30 Astros Angels. Over 9 minus 105. D-backs Padres. Over 7.5 minus 115. Dodgers Mariners. All over 8.5. That was plus 142. 10 o'clock Royals A's. I gave out the A's minus 1 at home, and then Rockies Giants at 10:15. I gave out over 8.5 minus 105. All right, Saturday. 1 o'clock O's Yankees 2:20. Cards Cubs 3 o'clock Rays Jays. White Sox Nats. Rockies Giants at 4. White Sox Nats was at 4 as well. Tigers Red Sox Mets Marlins. Twins Phils at 6. 7:15 Pirates Braves. And then on Fox, you have Rangers, Guardians, and Reds, Brewers. 8:30 D-backs, Padres. 9:30 Astros, Angels. Dodgers, Mariners. And 10 o'clock Royals, A's. And then Sunday, the series is, and I'm going to give out picks. 3 o'clock O's, Yankees. Yankees 2 out of 3. White Sox, Nats. Nats 2 out of 3. Tigers, Red Sox. Red Sox 2 out of 3. Twins, Phils. Phils sweep. Rockies, Giants. Giants sweep. Royals, A's. A's 2 out of 3. Rays, Jays. Jays 2 out of 3. Astros, Angels. Astros 2 out of 3. Mets, Marlins. Mets 2 out of 3. Rangers, Guardians. Guardians 2 out of 3. Reds, Brewers. Reds 2 out of 3. D-backs, Padres. Padres 2 out of 3. Dodgers, Mariners. Mariners 2 out of 3. 3:15 Pirates, Braves. Braves sweep. And then Cubs, Cards at 3:20. And say Cubs 2 out of 3. So Astros out. Blue Jays win the East. Guardians win the Central. That's how I think it plays out. And then the Mets get in the National League. So there you have it for baseball. Now we'll move on to Thursday Night Football from last night. We'll hit on the result and then look ahead to the weekend's game. Seahawks over the Cardinals 23-20 in a great game as Jason Myers hits a 52-yard field goal as time expires. As the Seahawks do the 3-1, Cards drop the 2-2. All right, now on to the games for Sunday. 9:30 on NFL Network from Dublin, Ireland. Vikings Steelers. My line is the Steelers by 4.5, total 47 and 7/10. And it is Vikings by 2.5, total 40.5. So I gave out the over in a bet earlier in the week. And I also have a 7-point edge on the Steelers. But I have a higher edge still on the over, so I think over 40.5 at minus 112. All right. On CBS, Commanders Falcons. My line is Commanders 1.5, total 39 and 7/10. And it is Falcons 2.5, total 43.5. That's a sign that Jaden Daniels may not be playing. I have a 4-point edge on the Commanders. And a less than 4-point edge on the under. So I'm going to go with the Commanders plus 2.5 and plus 102. On CBS, Saints Bills. I have Bills 20.5, total 51 and 7/10. And it is 15.5 and 48.5. I'm going to lay the points, even though there's a couple injuries on the Bills. Browns Lions on Fox. My line is the Lions by 13.5, total 49 and 3/20. And for this one, I'm going to lay the 9.5 with No, actually, I lied, guys. I'm going to go over 44.5, even though I gave out the tree minus the points already. But for the official pick, I'm going to give out the over. Kind of the point of the weekly bets. Panthers Patriots on Fox. Mine's Pats by 4, total 40 and 11/20, and it is 5.5, 43.5. I like the under. On CBS, Chargers Giants, the debut of Jackson Dart at quarterback. My line's Chargers 7.5, total 42.5, and it is 6.5 and 43.5. Very close both ways. Only because of how good the Chargers defense has been and rookie quarterback's first start, I'm going to do slight under. I originally had the Chargers at 9.5, but there's some injuries that bumped it down. And that matters. Eagles Bucks. My line's Bucks by 1/2, total 46 and 7/20. And the Eagles are giving 3.5, totals 44.5. I'm still gonna do the Bucks plus 3.5 and plus 160 outright. They own the Eagles, and the Eagles have been fraudulent so far, other than that comeback against the Rams. Titans Texans on CBS. My line's Texans 5.5, total 39, and it's 7.5 and 38.5. Oh, I like the Titans plus the 7.5. Although it looks like it's gonna go down to 7. 4 o'clock games. Colts Rams on Fox. Mine's Rams 5.5, total 48 and 2/5. I'm sorry, 4/5. I read that wrong. And it's 3.5 and 49.5. I'm gonna lay the 3.5 with the Rams. I'm excited to get the Rams under 3, or I'm sorry, under 4 or 5. Next up, Jaguars 49ers on Fox. My line is the Niners by 4.5, total 38 and 3/20. If Mac Jones was starting again, this would be Jaguars by 1/2. And it's 3 and 46.5. I love the under. That is way too high of a total. 425. CBS. Jim Nantz. Tony Romo on the call. 1-2 Ravens at the 1-2 Chiefs. My line, believe it or not, Kansas City 3.5, total 53 and 17/20, and it's Baltimore by 2.5, total 48.5. I'm going to take the Chiefs plus 2.5 and plus 126. Nobody's picking them, so I will. And this kind of feels ratty. Bears-Packers on CBS. My line is the Raiders 2.5 total 49 and 7/20, and it is 1.5 and 47.5. Slide over. And last but not least, Sunday Night Football. 8:20, NBC. Packers-Cowboys. Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth on the call. And you're going to be hearing Chris say, "Oh, Micah Parsons. Oh. He is such a generational talent." He is. And he's going to have a monster game. My line's Packers 6 total 45 and 7/10. And it is 6.5 and 47.5. This kind of sucks because I don't have a big edge on anything here. It looks like that's going to go up to 7. But I'm going to go slight under in this spot. All right, now we'll move on to college football. We'll go over the result from yesterday and make picks for the weekend. So last night, East Carolina beats Army 28-6. And now we move on to tonight, 7 o'clock, ESPN. Number 8, Florida State at Virginia. My line is Virginia by 7.5, total 66.5. And it is Florida State 6.5, total 59.5. The only reason why Florida State has a minus by their name is because they beat Alabama and of that nature. I'm taking Virginia getting the hook, 6 in the hook, and plus 202 outright. All right, next up, 9 o'clock on Fox, number 24 TCU at Arizona State. Mine's Arizona State 19.5, total 55 and 17/20. And it's 2.5 and 54.5. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Arizona State. 10:30 ESPN, Houston, Oregon State. My line is Houston 5.5, total 48 and 3/5. And it's 13.5 and 47.5. I'm going to take Oregon State getting the points. All right, 12 o'clock, ESPN, number 16, Georgia Tech at Wake. I have Tech 13.5, total 50 and 11/20, and it's 13.5 and 51.5. Very close numbers, slight under. On Fox, number 21, USC, number 23, Illinois. I have Illinois 6.5, total 65 and 1/5, and it is USC 6.5, total 60.5. I'm taking Illinois plus the 6.5 and plus the 98 outright. ABC, number 22, Notre Dame at Arkansas. My nine's Notre Dame 9.5, total 69 and 17/20, and it's 4.5 and 63.5. Over. Big Ten Network, Rutgers, Minnesota. My line is Minnesota 9.5, total 56 and 1/5, and it's 5.5 and 51.5. I'm going to take the over. Duke, Syracuse, ACC Network. My line is Duke 4.5, total 66 and 20th. And it's 4.5 and 58.5. Over. Louisville, Pitt, ESPN 2 million. Louisville by 2, total 59. And it is 3.5 and 56.5. Over. Cincy, Kansas, TNT. My line is Kansas 4.5, total 53 and 7/10. 4.5, 57.5. Under. UCF, Kansas State, Fox Sports 1. My line is Kansas State 9.5, total 49 and 3/5. And it is 6.5 and 49.5. I'm gonna lay the points at Kansas State. South Alabama, North Texas, ESPNU. My line is North Texas 26.5, total 61 and 13/20ths, and it is 12.5 and 63.5. I'm going to lay the points. Bowling Green, Ohio, CBS Sports Network, Violence, Ohio 13, total 50 and 13/20ths, and it is 8.5, 50.5 points. I'm going to lay them. Utah State, number 18, Vandy on the SEC Network, Violence, Vandy 17.5, total 60 and 7/10ths. And it is 23.5 and 58.5. I'm going to take Utah State getting the points just because I think it's a sandwich spot for Vandy. 1 o'clock, East Michigan, Central Michigan. I have Central by 5.5, total 60 and 9/20ths, and it is 4.5 and 54.5. Over. Georgia Southern, James Madison at 1:30. My line's Georgia Southern 3.5, total 57.5. And it's James Madison by a whopping 17.5, total 56.5. Oof. Give me Georgia Southern in the 17.5, and I think they can win too. They're plus 550. 3 o'clock, Arkansas State, UL Monroe. Mine's Arkansas State 6.5, total 54.5. And it's UL Monroe 1.5, total 55.5. Wrong team's favor. Give me Arkansas State plus 1.5 and minus 102 outright. All right, 3:30, CBS, number 1, Ohio State at Washington. Mine's Ohio State by 11, total 59 and 4/5. And it is 9.5 and 52.5. That is way... I can't believe Ohio State's under 10. But hey, I like the over better, so I'm going to go over 52.5. All right, 3:30 ABC, number 4 LSU, number 13 Ole Miss. My line is LSU by 1, total 50 and 19/20ths. And it is let's see. 1.5 in favor of Ole Miss, total 57.5. Under. ESPN Auburn at number 9, Texas A&M. My line's A&M 4.5, total 59 and 3/4. And it is 6.5 and 52.5. Over. Number 11, Indiana and Iowa on Peacock. My line is Indiana 5.5, total 55 and 3/10. And it's 7.5 and 48.5. Over. Way over. UCLA Northwestern, Big Ten Network. My line's Northwestern by 2, total 45 and 13/20ths. And it is can't find that game. There it is. Northwestern 6.5, total 45.5. I'm gonna take UCLA in the points. New coach bump maybe. Cal BC on the ACC Network. My line's BC 4.5, total 54 and 9/10ths. And it's 6.5 and 53.5. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I like Cal getting the 6.5. Baylor, Oklahoma State, ESPN 2. My line's Baylor 14.5, total 54 and 3/4. It's 20.5, 58.5. I can't believe that. Give me Oklahoma State in the points. Maybe that's a new coach bump too. On Fox, Utah, West Virginia. West Virginia 2.5, total 48 and 9/20ths, and it is Utah by 12.5, total 47. I'm taking West Virginia in the points plus 350. That is way too many points for Utah to be laying on the road. UConn, Buffalo. My line's Buffalo 15, total 55 and 1/5, and it's UConn 3.5, total 50.5. I'm gonna take Buffalo getting the 3 in the hook and plus 142. I think UConn's overrated. San Diego State, Northern Illinois. My line is San Diego State by 8, total 39 and 7/10. And it is 2.5 and 43.5. I'm gonna lay the points. Rice Navy, CBS Sports Network. My line is Navy 14.5 total 52 and 3/10. It's 14.5, 45.5. Over. Akron Toledo. My line is Toledo 15.5 total 48 and 11/20. And it is 20.5 and 48.5. I'm going to take Akron in the points. Lindenwood, Miami of Ohio at 4. My line's Miami of Ohio 16.5 total 51 and 9/20. And it's 20.5 and 49.5. I'm going to take Lindenwood in the points. Mexico State, New Mexico. My line is... Oh, this is a 4 o'clock game. The Lindenwood, Miami of Ohio game is 3:30. New Mexico 5 total 45. And it is 14.5 and 53.5. I'm taking New Mexico State getting the points. It's a rivalry game. I'm surprised it's that high. Tulane Tulsa on ESPNU. My line is Tulane 13.5 total 47 and 2/5. It's 15.5 and 51.5. Under. Hawaii Air Force, Fox Sports 1. My line is Hawaii Bay 2 total 40 or 59 3/4. It's Air Force 6.5 total 52.5. Ooh. Give me Hawaii getting the points and plus 188 outright. 4:15 SEC Network. Number 15 Tennessee, Mississippi State. My line's Tennessee 9.5 total 66 and 9/20, and it is 7.5 62.5. Over. Middle Tennessee, Kennesaw State at 6 o'clock. Mine's Kennesaw 5.5 total 46 and 3/10. And it is 7.5 53.5. Under. Liberty Old Dominion. I have Liberty 4.5 total 50 and 7/20. And it's Old Dominion 15.5 total 52.5. I have to take Liberty. Guess this team's just not good. I overrated this team. 6:30 Rhode Island, Western Michigan. I have Rhode Island 2.5 total 38 and 9/20, and it is 7.5 in favor of West Michigan total 43.5. I'm taking Rhode Island plus 7.5 and plus 230. 7 o'clock ESPN Arizona number 14 Iowa State. Mine's Iowa State 16.5 total 44 and 9/10. And it is 6.5 and 48.5. I'm going to lay the 6.5 at Iowa State. That's way too low. Virginia Tech, NC State, CW. My line is NC State 14, total 57 in the 5th. And it is 10.5 and 57.5. I'm going to lay the points with NC State. Jacksonville State, Southern Miss. My line is Southern Miss by 21, total 54 and 3/10. It's 3.5 and 55.5. That's really low. I'm going to lay the points. Western Kentucky, Missouri State. My line is Western Kentucky 5.5, total 57 and a 20th. And it's 3.5 and 61.5. Under. Memphis FAU, ESPN2. My line's FAU 2.5, total 56 and a 5th. And it's Memphis a whopping 13.5, total 62.5. I'm taking Florida Atlantic getting the points in 4-1 on the money line. That's your upset. Game of the weekend, 7:30. NBC and Peacock. Number 6 Oregon. Number 3 Penn State. Maryland's Penn State 3.5 total 54 and 9/10. Game day's there, obviously. And it is Penn State by 3.5, totals 53.5. My numbers are spot on. I'm not going to be betting on this game. I'm going to enjoy this game as a fan of the sport. Slight over. In the second biggest game on the board, number 17 Alabama, number 5 Georgia on ABC. Mine's Georgia by 6, total 57 and 7/20, and it is 2.5 and 53.5. So 3.5 point edge on Georgia. Oh, that line looks like it's gonna go up, and then yeah, I have a higher edge on the over, which is which is good. So I'm going to go over 53.5 minus 115. So ESPN UMass and number 20 Missouri. Mine's Missouri 31.5, total 57 and 9/10. It's 45.5, 56.5. I'm going to take UMass getting the lumber only because it's the sandwich spot. CBS Sports Network, Wazoo, Colorado State. My line's Colorado State 13.5, total 49 and 7/10. And it's 5.5 and 49.5. I'm going to lay it with Colorado State. Wazoo stinks. San Jose State, Stanford, ACC Network. My line is San Jose State 12.5, total 46 and a fifth. And then Stanford by 3.5, total 49.5. I'm going to take San Jose State plus 3.5 and plus 126 outright. Fox Sports 1, App State, Boise State. My line's Boise 19, total 55. And it's 15.5, total 59.5. I'm going to go with the under. SEC Network, so only 4 games left. 7:45 SEC Network, Kentucky, South Carolina. My line South Carolina 9.5, total 48 and 13/20. And it's 5.5 and 47.5. South Carolina needs this game so bad. I'm gonna lay it with the Gamecocks. 8 o'clock, Marshall, Louisiana. My line's Louisiana 10.5, total 50 and 7/10. And it's only 1.5 and 47.5, so it's kind of like a pick 'em. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with Louisiana. I think a lot of favorites this week, which is surprising. 9 o'clock, La Tech, UTEP. Mine's UTEP by 2, total 45 and 9/20. And it is La Tech 3.5, total 48.5. I'm going to take UTEP plus 3.5 and plus 146 outright. And last but not least, 10 and 15 ESPN, number 25 BYU, Colorado. Mine's BYU 13.5, total 49 and the 20th. And it is 6.5 and 49.5. I'm going to lay to 6.5 with BYU. Okay, now we'll move on to soccer. I'm just going to rapid fire the soccer. I'm not going to give out picks only because just a lot going on. We'll recap everything. We'll go ahead to everything in the weekend. All right, so Thursday results. Europa. FCSBF over to Go Ahead Eagles 1-0. Lille over SK Brand 2-1. Aston Villa over Bologna 1-0. Lyon over Utrecht 1-0. Ferencváros Victoria 1-1 draw. Racing Genk over Rangers 1-0. FC Porto over RB Salzburg 1-0. VfB Stuttgart over Celta Vigo 2-1. And Panathinaikos over Young Boys 4-1. La Liga Osasuna Elche 1-1 draw. Barcelona over Real Oviedo 3-1. Coppa Italia Genoa over Empoli 3-1 and Torino over Pisa 1-0. Pro League Al Khaloud over Al Khalij 1-0. Al Khaloud over Al Shabab 2-1 and Al Hilal over Al Akdo 3-1. CONMEBOL Libertadores Liga de Quito over Sao Paulo 1-0. Liga de Quito advances 3-0 in aggregate, and then Estudiantes de La Plata over Flamengo 1-0, and they're tied on aggregate, so Flamengo advances 4-2 on penalties. All right. So 3 o'clock today, La Liga, Girona, Espanyol, Bundesliga 2:30 on ESPN2, Bayern and Bremen. Women's League tonight, 8 o'clock, Gotham, Portland, KC, Chicago, 10:30, San Diego, Orlando. Liga MX, 9 o'clock, FC Juarez, Lyon, and 11 o'clock, Puebla, Guadalajara. French League 1, 2:45, Strasbourg, Marseille. ELC, West Bromwich, Leicester at 3. Dutch Eredivisie, 2 o'clock, C20, and Fortuna. Pro League going on right now, Al Hazim, Al Ali, Damak, Al Etifak, and then 2 o'clock is Al Idiad and Al Nasser. USL, 7 o'clock, North Carolina, Miami, and 9 o'clock, El Paso, Rhode Island. And in League 1, 6:30, Knoxville, Charlotte. Saturday, busy day. Premier League, 7:30, Brentford, Man United, 10 o'clock, Chelsea, Brighton and Hove, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Leeds AFC, Bournemouth, Man City, Burnley, 12:30, Nottingham, Sunderland at 3 o'clock, Tottenham, Wolverhampton. La Liga, 8 o'clock, Getafe Levante, 10:15, Atletico Real Madrid, 12:30, Mallorca Alaves, 3 o'clock, Villarreal Athletic. Bundesliga, 9:30, FC Heidenheim, FC Augsburg, Mainz Borussia, St. Pauli Bayer, Leverkusen, Wolfsburg Leipzig, and then 12:30 is Gladbach and Frankfurt. MLS, 4:30 Toronto, Miami, 7:30 Charlotte, Montreal, DC, Philly, New England, Atlanta, Red Bulls, NYCFC, Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, Houston, St. Louis, LAFC, Colorado, Minnesota, Salt Lake, Austin, and then 10:30 is Galaxy and KC, Portland, Dallas, San Diego, San Jose, and Seattle, Vancouver. Women's League, 7:30, Louisville, Angel City, and 10 o'clock is FC Utah. Liga MX, 7 o'clock, Atlas Necaxa, Pachuca Atletico, 9 o'clock, Monterrey Santos, Toluca Mazatlan, and 11 o'clock, America in UNAM. Serie A, 9 o'clock, Como Cremonese, 12 o'clock on CBS, Juventus Atalanta, and 2:45 is Cagliari Inter. League 1, 11 o'clock, Lorient AS Monaco, 1 o'clock, Toulouse Nantes, and 3 o'clock, PSG Ajax Serre. Dutch Eredivisie, 10:30, Ajax NAC, 12:45 FC Volendam PC Zwolle, 2 o'clock is Glazier PSV, and 3 o'clock Heracles and Sparta. The Pro League, 11:15 El Ryder Neom, 11:30 El Najma Al Faya, 2 o'clock El Fateh and El Kadiash. Premiership, 10 o'clock Celtic Hibernian, Dundee Kilmarnock, Hearts Falkirk, St. Mirren Dundee, and 12:45 is Motherwell Aberdeen. And then USL Saturday, 7 o'clock Detroit Louisville, Indy Tulsa, Pittsburgh Vegas, 8 o'clock Colorado Hartford, 8:30 San Antonio Birmingham, 10 o'clock Monterey Bay Sacramento, Orange County Charleston, and Phoenix Oakland. Sunday, Premier League, 9 o'clock Aston Villa Fulham and Newcastle Arsenal. La Liga, 8 o'clock Real Valenciano Sevilla, 10:15 Elche Celta Vigo, 12:30 Barcelona Real Sociedad, 3 o'clock Real Betis Osasuna. Bundesliga, 9:30 Freiburg Hoffenheim, 11:30 Cologne VfB Stuttgart, 1:30 Union Berlin and Hamburg. MLS, 7 o'clock Cincy Orlando City. Women's League, Washington Houston at 1 and at 8 Seattle North Carolina. Liga MX, 7 o'clock Querétaro Tigres, 11 o'clock Tijuana Cruz Azul. Serie A, 6:30 Sassuolo Udinese, 9 o'clock Roma Verona. Pisa Fiorentina, noon Lecce Bologna, and 2:45 AC Milan and Napoli. French League 1, 9 o'clock Nice and Paris FC, 11 o'clock Angers Brest Lille Lyon, Metz Le Havre AC, and 2:45 Stade and Lens. Dutch Eredivisie, 6:15 NEC Nijmegen and AZ Alkmaar, 8:30 FC Groningen Feyenoord, FC Utrecht and Heerenveen, and 10:45 Telstar and the Go Ahead Eagles. Scottish Premiership, Livingston Rangers at 10, and in the Super League, Brighton and Hove Everton at 7, Leicester City Tottenham, Liverpool Man United, Man City London City, and at 9:30 is West Ham Chelsea. USL, Loudoun Tampa at 5, and in New Mexico Lexington at 6. So there you have it for soccer. WNBA playoffs for the weekend. We have some game 3s and game 4s that I want to touch on real quick. Tonight, 7:30 ESPN2, Aces Fever, series tied at 1. Vegas is a 3.5-point favorite total. I'm going to see if FanDuel has the same line. Probably. Yes, in 162.5. I'm going to lay with the Aces. They're just better than the Fever. 9:30 ESPN2, Lynx Mercury. That's a 1-1 series. Lynx is a 3.5-point road favorite. Totals 158.5. I'm going to lay it with the Lynx. It's just easy. And then the game 4's 3:3 ABC is Aces Fever. And then 8 o'clock ESPN is Lynx Mercury. I'm going to say that Lynx Mercury closes out, and Aces Fever goes 5. And then the Aces are going to have to sweat it out a little bit. Okay, now we will do NHL preseason. Really, really quick, we'll go over the results and then look ahead to tonight and the weekend. Isles over the Rangers 5-4. Red Wings over the Sabres 5-2. Caps over the Flyers 3-1. Leafs over the Habs 7-2. Stars over the Wild 5-2. And the Golden Knights over the Mammoth 3-2 in OT. Alright, tonight 7 o'clock. Hurricanes Lightning. Red Wings Pens. Devils Islanders. 9 o'clock. Jets Oilers. Golden Knights Sharks at 10. And then Kraken Canucks. Saturday, 3 o'clock Red Wings Sabres. 5 o'clock Bruins Flyers. 6 o'clock Ducks Kings. 7 o'clock Jackets Pens. Stars Avs. Preds Lightning, Habs, Leafs, Blackhawks, Blues, 8 o'clock, Flames, Jets, and then Sunday, 3 o'clock, Devils, Sens, Caps, Devils, 6 o'clock, Blackhawks, Wild, 7 o'clock, Preds, Kings, and 8 o'clock, Canucks, Oilers. Okay, now we will do the Ryder Cup really quickly. We're going to go over the scores and the results so far. Just got word that Trump is at the Ryder Cup, so that's interesting. So as of right now, Europe's up 3-1 on the U.S. Session 1, Rahm and Hatton over DeChambeau and Thomas, 4-3. Aberg and Fitzpatrick, 5-3 over Scotty and Russell Henley. Rory and Tommy Fleetwood 5-4 over Colin Morikawa and Harry English, and then Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay 2-up on Robert McIntyre and Victor Hovland. And then the 4-ball, as of right now, John Rahm and Seb Straka over Scotty Scheffler and JJ Spaun 1-up through 3. Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Rose tied through 2 with Ben Griffin and Bryson DeChambeau. Lovey Gaberg and Rasmus Hojgaard tied through 1 with Cam Young and Justin Thomas. And then coming up at 1:15 is Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry against Sam Burns and Patrick Cantlay. So that's a quick Ryder Cup update for you. Now we'll do NASCAR. We will look at the races and make the picks. Truck Series is off this week. Xfinity tomorrow from Kansas. I'm going to go with, let's do Jesse Love 11-1 to win the Kansas Speedway 300. And then the Cup Series, the Hollywood Casino 400 from Kansas, Sunday afternoon. I'm going to go with Ross Chastain 14-1 to win the Kansas Speedway 400. I'm going to do a quick round of news and notes. It's going to be the rapid fire of all rapid fires. Just got word that Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin out week 4. Marcus Mariota's going to start. That makes sense to why the Falcons are favored. Jerry Jones shades Micah's game as he doesn't hold back his thoughts ahead of the rivalry game. John Morant won't use an agent. That's interesting. The 76ers offered Quentin Grimes $39 million as he's seeking $25 million a year. Are you kidding me? It's not worth that. There's people around the NBA that don't believe Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Stephen Curry are still league's biggest stars. I agree with that. They're not. The biggest stars in the league are Jokic, Luka, Giannis, Brunson, Anthony Edwards. Like, give me a break. That's 10 years ago talk. The Lakers laughed at Kawhi's uncle, Dennis Robertson, during the 2019 free agent talks. How about this? So the Florida Panthers, Alexander Barkov undergoing surgery, bracing for possibility of being out for the season. Wow. They might have a down year. Kyle Tucker activated, will be in the lineup for tonight for the first time since September 2nd. That's huge for the Cubs. Brock Purdy could play this week, so that's interesting. Christian Gonzalez expected to make debut, which is huge. Ed Oliver and Matt Milano are out against the Saints, as we talked about earlier. AJ Epeneza's questionable. Joel Embiid's rehab is on schedule. Jared McCain injures his thumb. Not great. Shader Sanders says he's thankful for the Browns. Dame Lillard is eyeing a 2026-27 return. Rams defensive lineman Jared Verse defends Jalen Hurts. That mother effer can throw. I mean, I agree with him. So, Busquets plans to retire. So that's some interesting soccer news. Tony Gonzalez says that Russell Wilson is not a Hall of Famer. You could certainly argue that. Netflix to stream the Home Run Derby as they acquire the rights to next year's event in addition to the season opener between the Yankees and the Giants. So the Mariners clinch home field advantage for the divisional round. And then the other team that's going to get the bye will be the AL East winner. We just don't know who that is yet. Probably the Jays. Sonny Gray may seek a trade as he'll consider waiving his no trade clause. And then Nolan Arenado says it's best to move on from organization. We're willing to waive no trade clause. Wow, so the Cards are headed for like a rebuild finally. The NCAA to allow uniform patches, so that's interesting. And Sean Alexander and his wife Valerie are expecting their 14th child. Wow. That's unheard of nowadays. Okay. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. It's obvious. There's two I really like, but I think you guys know where I'm going. I'm going with Virginia against Florida State for best bet. So that is plus 6.5. It minus 102, and I'm actually going to take a stab at the money line too at plus 202. So there you have it for the show, and I'll be back. Oh wait, no. The Fab Five. I forgot about the Fab Five, guys. I'm sorry. So we'll do that really quickly before we go. We will begin with college in the Fab Five. And the first pick, I usually don't do Friday nights in Fab Five, or else Virginia would have been in there. Pick number 1 is going to be, I'm going to go back to the well of the team that did me good last week, and that's North Texas. I'm going to lay 12.5 with them against South Alabama. Pick number 2 of the Fab Five. I'm taking Illinois getting 6.5 at home against USC. I think this is your classic letdown spot for the Trojans after a big win, and I think this is Illinois' bounce back spot. Pick number 3 of the Fab Five. I am gonna go with Oh, wow, Ohio State's down to 8.5. I think that's ridiculous. I'm going to go back to the team I picked last week. They're home. I know they got blown out last week, but I'm going to pick them again. I'm going to take West Virginia getting 12 and a hook at home against Utah. I just think that number's way too high for them at home. I don't trust Utah one bit. Pick number 4. I am gonna go with the Florida Atlantic Owls plus 13.5 against Memphis. I picked Memphis against Arkansas, and I picked against them a couple times this year. So this is like the third time Memphis has been involved in the Fab Five. And then the 5th pick is going to be Iowa State minus 5.5 at home against Arizona. So 2 Big 12 games in the Fab Five this week. I love the Clones at home, and I don't think Arizona's very good. So I'm going to lay 5.5 on their touchdown at home with Iowa State. And my underdog outright pick of the show. Like I said, it would have been Virginia if that was allowed in my rules. So I'm going to go with an FCS team. The Rams of Rhode Island plus 230 at Western Michigan. Okay, now the NFL Fab Five. So pick number 1 of the NFL Fab Five. I am gonna go with the Buccaneers getting the 3.5 at home against the Eagles. I'm gonna go back to the well with that one. So I'm gonna do it. Pick number 2. I'm going to I have to change a projection here. No Jaden Daniels and no McLaurin from Washington. I just have to change that number on the fly. I just brought it up in news and notes. So that's a 7-point projection swing right there. With both those guys out on Washington, who has a 1.5-point favorite. And without those guys now, they're a 5.5 underdog. So I now have an edge on the Atlanta Falcons. 3-point edge for them. And then that leads me to change my podcast pick to the under. So like I said, number 1, I went with the Bucks. Pick number 2, I'm gonna go lay the lumber at the Bills minus 15.5 against the Saints. Pick number 3, I am going to go. I hate this pick, but I might have to do it. Hang on. I have to do it. I have to take 2.5 at the Chiefs against the Ravens. I hate the pick. So, that's a hold your nose special. Maybe the Ravens win by 2 and I still win the bet. Pick number 4. Like, a lot of these are hard this week. I am going to have to count another one. I'm going to go double down on the over in the game in Ireland. So I'm going to double down on a lot of these picks because I really don't love anything. So that's 4, over 40.5 and Vikes, Steelers. And the final pick of the Fab Five, I am going to go, oh, this is a good one. I'm going under 46.5 with Jaguars 49ers. That is way too high. Especially, I understand no Nick Bosa, but you have a lot of offensive injuries on the 49ers. That is way too high of a number. I know Jacksonville's defense is not very good, but the 49ers defense is very good. So, under 46.5, that's probably my favorite bet on the board, believe it or not. Underdog, outright pick, Tampa Bay Bucks, plus 160 against the Eagles. For my outright underdog of the week. Because, like I said, anything over 3 or anything over plus 120, I think I said, is the rules. So, there you have it for the show. And I'll be back on Monday recapping everything. You'll get everything come Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone.